I usually have to ask the King for... Time and again, the cry for justice was ignored by the British state because of who the victims are. Because they're working class. Because they're black. Because they're women and girls. And so I come here today not to take credit for this government or this House, but as Prime Minister, to put on our national record exactly where the credit belongs, because, Madam Deputy Speaker, it belongs to the families and to the campaigners. And I pay tribute to every one of them. The Hillsborough families, Hillsborough Law now, Inquest, Grenfell United, the Manchester Arena families, who again were with me this afternoon, or some of them, and are here today. Victims of the grooming gangs, the Horizon scandal, the infected blood campaigners, the Truth About Zayn campaign, and indeed all the families who engage with us to share their deeply personal and painful experiences. And I thank them all for their time and, most of all, for their courage. Because whilst these are different tragedies, Madam Deputy Speaker, they represent the same demand repeated across decades for truth, justice and accountability to belong equally to every single person in this country.
It does feel tonight like life is coming full circle, and as we pass this momentous piece of legislation, a piece of legislation that will change the way this country thinks and works about justice, it truly is a rewiring of the state and a passing of power from the authorities to the hands of ordinary people. Yeah. And it is happening because of the Prime Minister's commitment to a country based on justice and fairness, and we thank him for that. Yeah. He has honoured...
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and let me begin, as I have throughout the passage of this bill, by placing at the forefront.
I hope it ends the cover-up culture that has failed so many ordinary people in this country. We can never forget that for 20 years an entire English city was crying injustice correctly, and yet this place ignored them for all of that time. We cannot forget that, and we cannot take away the hurt that that caused. We cannot forget that postmasters and mistresses serving communities up and down this country were branded as petty thieves and carried that stigma with them for years. Likewise, those who were infected by infected blood and were blamed that they had brought it on themselves through their lifestyle. We can't forget that, Madam Deputy Speaker. And let's finish where I started, that the Liverpool supporters were blamed for harming their own fellow supporters at a football match. That is what was done. That was left to stand for all of those years. These families here tonight had to live with that for all of those years. Imagine what that must have felt like. We have had a situation in this country where people suffer the trauma of the initial bereavement, the incident that took their loved ones away. Then they are re-traumatised by the behaviour of the state. We can't take that hurt away tonight, but we can put decency back at the heart of the British state, and that is what this bill does. And I finish again by praising the Prime Minister for making it happen, and this truly is his legacy. Thank you, Madam President.
The question is that the bill be now read the third time. As many as of that opinion say aye. Aye. Of the contrary, no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it.